Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking over and talking about the Game Week 10 Premier League games, and obviously as you all know we're gonna predict them as well. We got some quite good ones in store for this week. So let's get started with Newcastle versus Arsenal. This first game of the week is looking like a very good game, honestly. Let's get started with Newcastle. They have been in not the best form. Their last game was a bit rough. They actually lost 2-1 to Chelsea. Newcastle actually had chances to win that game, but Isak was the only scorer in that game as well, and he's back scoring in the team, which is a positive. And on to Arsenal. They have been quite alright this season, have not been performing to like their best ability. In our last game we played Liverpool. I believe we were the better side, but we went defensive in the second half. In my opinion, I don't agree with Arteta in going defensive. We should have went for at least one more goal, but my prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for Arsenal. Now we have Liverpool versus Brighton. This is going to be a great game as well. So let's get started with Liverpool. They're looking quite good. Played Arsenal in their last game. That ended 2-2, but they did not play the best. One of their worst performances this season. And Salah continues scoring as well. He's just a unreal baller. I don't know how he did not get into the Ballon d'Or rankings. That is disgraceful from the Ballon d'Or people. You can't even comprehend it, like unreal. Onto Brighton, they're doing not too bad so far, playing some pretty decent football. Their last game they faced Wolves, and Ivan Ferguson finally scored for the first time in a while. Brighton sit in 6th place, which is pretty good so far, and my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Liverpool. Ipswich versus Leicester. This is going to be a underrated one. So let's get started with Ipswich. They have been struggling quite a bit. Pretty crazy that they have not won a game yet this season. Liam Delap has been phenomenal for them actually. Their last game against Brentford was pretty crazy. It ended 4-3 to Brentford, and Mbeumo scored the last second winner. And onto Leicester, they have been quite alright this season, getting a few results and points here and there, but in their last game they played Nottingham Forest, and that's a pretty rough game because Nottingham Forest are in some very good form. So Leicester did lose that game 3-1. And Vardy, he got on the score sheet once again. This guy just continues scoring in the Premier League. It's what he does. And my prediction is going to be a 2-2 draw between the two. Bournemouth versus Man City. This should be a quite good game. So let's get started with Bournemouth. Recently they have been quite alright this season, getting some good football and playing some good football, and the last game was a challenge as they faced Aston Villa in their last game, and that game ended 1-1 between the two sides. Ivan Nelson secured the draw late into the game. Onto Man City, they're doing quite good but playing a bit different as they're missing Rodri, who is now a Ballon d'Or winner. They are still a very good team though, with quality everywhere. Haaland, one of the best scorers in the world, up top for them. And last game they played Southampton and won 1-0. I thought it was going to be a lot more than that. I think in the last predictions video I predicted like 4-0 or 5-0. They stay top of the league, which is a positive for them, and my prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for Man City. Now we move on to Southampton versus Everton. This should be a pretty decent game, so let's get started with Southampton. They're struggling quite a bit this season. Another club that has not won a game this season. Their last game was quite rough. As we all know, we said that in the last matchup. They played the reigning champions Manchester City and they lost a 1-0, a way tighter result than I expected. Well, onto Everton, they have picked up their form recently, playing some quite good football and getting results. And I mean, their last game they played Fulham and it ended up being a 1-1 draw between those two, but Beto got the goal late into the game, and my prediction is going to be a 2-0 win for Everton. Next up, we have Nottingham Forest versus West Ham. This is going to be a super underrated match, so let's get started with Nottingham Forest. They're doing quite well this season. This team has really surprised me so far, playing some great football and getting results. Their last match, they won 3-1 against Leicester. Chris Wood is on absolute fire, one of the top goal scorers in the league. Onto West Ham, they're struggling quite a bit, although their game has been improving slowly. Their last game, they played Manchester United and won 2-1, and that game ended up having Ten Hag sacked and Somerville getting his first goal for the club, and maybe this could be a turnaround for West Ham. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-2 draw between the two. Wolves versus Crystal Palace. Now this game might be a rough one, so let's get started with Wolves. They're struggling so much this season. Their last game they played Brighton was a not bad game for Wolves. They drew 2-2, Cunha scoring in the 93rd minute to secure the draw. Performance wise, it seemed like they were fighting to get the win, so we're seeing some fight from them, but defensively at the back, it's absolutely chaotic. They need to improve in that part because they are leaking in goals like crazy. Now on to Crystal Palace. They have not been too good this season, although in their last match they got a big result. They won 1-0 against Tottenham, which is great. Mateta being the goal scorer who won that game, and he is back on the score sheet. Hopefully we see him getting more goals as well, and hopefully this could be a turnaround for Crystal Palace. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Crystal Palace. Now moving on to Tottenham versus Aston Villa. This game looks absolutely incredible. So let's get started with Tottenham. They have been alright in recent games, but their last game was something we did not see coming. And they managed to lose 1-0 to Crystal Palace, as we said it in the previous matchup. And they gotta face a very good team in Aston Villa now. It's going to be a very rough game. Spurs have to be able to bounce back after that loss. And on to Aston Villa. They're doing quite well this season once again, putting up some great performances in the last few matches. Although their last game they drew 1-1 to Bournemouth. John Duran is a special type of player. Man just comes off the bench and he scores basically every single time. And we gotta give huge credit to Unai Emery. He has absolutely transformed this team. Now my prediction is gonna be a 3-1 win for Aston Villa. Moving on to Manchester United versus Chelsea. It's gonna be a very good match, so let's get started with Manchester United. They have had a very rough season for their standards. Obviously, a lot of United fans have very high standards for their team, but this season they actually stand in 14th place in the table. And we got the announcement a few days ago that Ten Hag has been sacked. I had a feeling it was coming after that 2-1 loss to West Ham, so the rumors are that Ruben Amorim from Sporting is very close to signing. He has agreed as well, so I think he will probably be the next United manager. This would be a very good appointment, as he has been doing very good with Sporting. Onto Chelsea. They have been doing quite good as well. Been playing some very nice football. Gotta give credit to Maresca for that. Palmer has been outstanding once again for them this season. They played against Newcastle in their last match, winning that game 2-1. And Jackson has been actually very good this season. He's been a lot more clinical than last season. He's been scoring his chances finally. He's been probably working on that in the off season. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Chelsea. Moving on to Fulham versus Brentford. It's going to be a very underrated game. Both teams have been fairly decent, so let's get started with Fulham. Their last game was against Everton, and that game ended up as a 1-1 draw. Emile Smith-Rowe has been quite solid for them. Nelson looked very good when coming on against Everton, and I think both of them have found their right place to excel and even get the game time as well. Onto Brentford, they're doing very well this season, like genuinely playing some quite good football. I believe they're in like 9th place or so, and it's incredible to see from the turnaround from last season. Credit to Thomas Frank for turning it around, and their last game was a high scoring one, ending 4-3 against Ipswich, and Mbeumo is the main man now at Brentford. He actually got the winner in that game against Ipswich, and Thomas Frank is one of the candidates for the Manchester United job, and that's actually a very good appointment if they do manage to get him. But Amorim is the favorite, and he is very close, and he has agreed to it. So my prediction for this game is gonna be a 1-1 draw. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to drop a like, comment down below all your predictions for all these games, and don't forget to subscribe as well if you do enjoy the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.